Today, go Diego go! Oregon forces a rule change and calls basketball preseason top 10. All this on here on American Game Day. Welcome to American Game Day. I'm your host, Braden Slater, back after feeling a little sick over the week. Yep, good. Back to be in the record board booth. Today's Saturday, October 19th. Yes. Yeah. Feels great to talk about football again and watch football. I'm so glad to be there. I seriously did not enjoy last week at all. I barely even watched the game. Yeah, I even missed part of the Red River rivalry game. Yeah, Oklahoma didn't win anyway, so I guess I didn't miss much. But I did rewatch it, and yikes. Anyway, we got a Georgia and Texas today. We got some good lineups today as well, so I'm ready to watch it. But we had some football over the week. Western Kentucky put a shoot down on Sam Houston, 31-14 on Wednesday night. And then Thursday and Friday had some good games. Boston College and Virginia Tech. There's the final scores of that game as well. And then Oklahoma State and BYU. Yeah, I probably likely will be breaking this one down on Slave Report Podcast on a Tuesday. Yeah, I'm going to be doing it on Tuesday now. Alright, let's look at our college football headline. Cam Rising returns for another season. Yep, he is injured once again. He decided I'm just going to take a medical red shirt and just play again next year. Try again next year. When is this guy just going to say, alright, I've had enough of injuries in football, I'm done. He just will not give up. I mean, just send him to the NFL already. He should just try out for an NFL team now. I mean, he's not going to win the starting job, but, something. I mean, there's the UFFL. Anyway, Ole Miss. They're not the only team doing this, but they're the only team obviously doing this. Has been faking injuries when their opponent has momentum, or anytime they get their opponent gets a first down. Oh, wait. Coach, you want me to go down? Oh, okay, I'll go down. Just every time. And there are reporters asking officials if there's anything they can do about it, and like, no, because we have no idea if it's fake or not. So yeah, Lane Kiffin has obviously found a loophole, but obvious loophole. Yeah, he is completely obvious. I really think there should be a penalty. If it should be like reviewed for it, like reviewed to see if hand signals or something. Anyway, Travis Hunter injured yet again. Blah blah blah. Yeah, and Kirby Smart. Yeah, this is a good one on replay that they need to review. Yeah, you can see him on the sideline shoving Mississippi's state player Van Brim. I can't even pronounce his name. In the fourth quarter, yeah, obviously shoved right in front of the officials too. Did not get flagged. NCAA and SEC said it should have been a 15-yard penalty, and Kirby Smart said he didn't even notice he shoved him, or was even the quarterback. Yeah, right. I was looking straight at him. He was trying to get a coaching staff attention, I guess, to change the personnel. Anyway, that was his defense on that. Oh yeah, and here's the good one. On to today's main topic. The NCAA is making an in-season rule. So, yeah, I actually did see this one. I actually did wake up to see the end of this one. This was a good one. So, Oregon versus Ohio State. So, Oregon, Ohio State making a, down by 1 point, making a, last-minute drive, in good field goal range, 1 second left. Oregon puts in a 12th man on the field because Ohio State had 3rd and forever, so it's like, oh, we'll just give them the free play, it doesn't matter. And thinking, and knowing the rules, that the clock does not reset. And guess what Ohio State did? Ran out the clock and ran out of time. So now, it's going to be a 5-yard penalty, like it should be, and the game clock will reset to what it was before it was snapped. Yikes. Or, I guess good. I guess good now. But, hey, Oregon, you must feel so good right now that you're so good that you have to force NCAA to change the rule mid-season. So let's celebrate! Alright, and then here's some other crazy news. Over the bye week for Mike Gundy, you know, in case you didn't know, he lives on the ranch down in Oklahoma in Stillwater, and he kind of headbutted one of his cows. Don't know what a cattle is, it's a cow, and he's got injury to his eye. This was recorded before the Friday night game versus BYU, so I have no idea how he did against that game, but I'll have the full breakdown of how he did on Singapore Podcast on Tuesday, but Mike Gundy, what are you doing? Alright, and with conference realignment, here are your new conference games you have to enjoy. NC State, California, ACC, SMU, Stanford, ACC, USC and Maryland, UCLA versus Rutgers, Big Ten, and look how many Big 12, new Big 12, Arizona State and Cincinnati, who would have thought that's a conference game? Colorado in Arizona, that's not Pac-12 anymore, that's Big 12. Alright, and our game of the week, Georgia at Texas. Yeah, another bit new conference game. 6:30 tonight, ABC, number 5 versus 1. Yep, and there's gonna be a lot of at stake on this one because I think if you win this, I think you're guaranteed a spot in the SEC championship game. Likely a spot in the playoff. I think you're guaranteed a spot in the playoff if you win this game. Don't know if you get that bye week or not, but you're going to be somewhere in the playoff if you win this game. Loser, well, they got a lot of making up to do because, well, for Georgia's sake, if they lose this game, they're likely out of the playoff. If Texas loses, I still think I got a chance, but total comparison, Georgia's got work to do. Their turnover chain's is not that great. Texas needs to fix some turnovers as well, but they are really good at forcing turnovers. But Carson Beck, 69%, almost 68% now. I guess I'll round it up for him. Over 1,000 yards, almost 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, and he's got 5 interceptions for the season. I gotta say, not bad stat, but Quinn Ewers is back. Yeah, 72%. He was back in the Red River rivalry game. And you'd think midway through the season in the Heisman race, not anymore. He only has 890 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. I gotta say, I know he hasn't played that much this year, but that stat is not the stat you want if you're trying to win the Heisman. Which I think he lost it getting injured. But let's look at Miami and Louisville in the ACC. Alright, 11 o'clock ABC. This was going to be a good matchup for sure because Miami has had help from the officials lately. They're on the road this time. Can they get help this time? Probably not. Virginia is on the trend up right now. They're on the road to number 10 Clemson, 11 o'clock on the ACC network. This one is going to be a really good one to pay very close attention to because Dabo is trending up right now as well after that loss to Georgia. Their only losses to Georgia. And if Georgia could beat Texas, Clemson could be back in the playoff race if they haven't been already. They got a good matchup next week as well against Louisville, and then they got Virginia Tech and Pitt on the road. They're really well set up. Around the rest of the ACC is kind of blah. Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, that one is going to be a good one, 2:30 on ESPN, but I need to throw another graphic in. Yeah, does Notre Dame even count as a conference team? I keep throwing them in the ACC because they're in the ACC in every conference except for football. But, I mean, I got to throw them in somewhere. I mean, they're number 12 right now. They're a ranked team. But let's look at the top of the standings for the ACC. Obviously, Miami is at the top, but who's in the race for it? Louisville is 5. SMU is in this race. Can you believe that we might have SMU in the ACC championship first year? Clemson's in the race. Pitt's in the race. Miami. I gotta say, to start the season, I was looking forward to Miami, Clemson, and Florida State. Now it's just, then it went to, it's just Miami. And now it's, any one of these 5 can have a shot at the ACC, so ACC is wide open, and I'm looking forward to it these next couple of weeks. But, wow, yeah, and they got 2 undefeated teams in the ACC right now. I think Pitt's been the most well-played one so far. Nebraska and Indiana onto the Big Ten network. Or not network, but, Big Ten family things, Fox, Fox Big Noon Saturday thing, 11 o'clock anyway. Indiana, undefeated. When was the last time they've been bowl eligible this far into the season? I mean, this early into the season, pretty much. I mean, 6-0. I mean, look at Nebraska. They're 5-1. I mean, they win today. They got Ohio State next week, but even if they lose, they got a chance at Ohio State too. And then the rest of the schedule is pretty easy heading into early November. Indiana, I mean, they get by Nebraska. Washington, I think is beatable. Mississippi State is beatable. I mean, Michigan State's beatable. Michigan, I think it's pretty beatable. They can beat Nebraska. They can go through October undefeated into early November undefeated. And then Illinois is on a track, making some big moves. Somehow, they are ranked. I don't think they deserve to be ranked, but they are. They're at 22. Michigan, again, I don't know how they're ranked, but they are. So the battle of who wants to stay ranked in that game against Michigan and Illinois. And USC and Maryland. Yeah, they're both trying to keep a winning record, I guess. And then Iowa versus Michigan State. I wasn't expecting Michigan State to win the Big Ten or go to the Big Ten championship, but I at least expect them to have a winning record this year, or at least go to a bowl game. They lose this game, them going to a bowl game probably won't happen now. But let's look at the top of the Big Ten, because that's what's really important. Nebraska, do they still have a shot at the Big Ten? Yes, they do. Indiana, of course, they're undefeated. Penn State's up there. Ohio State. And who has a bye week this week with probably one of the biggest wins of the season and smartest win of the season? Oregon. Yes. And the reason why Ohio State is at 2 is because in front of the other 2 undefeated teams is, well, because they lost to Oregon by 1 point the last second. And it was just a mental mistake, and it was just a great call by Oregon. I mean, I still can't believe they forced them to change the rule off that. That was pretty hilarious, and I'm surprised that's not a rule already. But let's look at Oregon's schedule. Do they have a shot at winning the Big Ten their first year in the conference? Well, they got Purdue next week, winnable. Then they got Illinois. That one is going to be a good one because they are ranked. They probably won't be ranked when they meet them. Then they got Michigan. Michigan might be in the rankings by then. They might jump out and then back in. We'll see how they do against Illinois. But I think that they could beat Michigan. And then Maryland, it's going to be a tough one for them, but I think it is doable. But let's look at Dylan Gabriel's Heisman stat. 76%. Almost 2,000 yards. Yeah, 1,700 yards. 13 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. That is quite a stat for Dylan Gabriel. It is. Let's look at the Big 12 now. Arizona State versus Cincinnati. Yeah, this is Big 12 biggest game this week. And It's on ESPN Plus at 11 o'clock. Yeah, the Big 12, I think it's been producing some entertaining football. I mean, they don't have the best team, but it's entertaining. I mean, but, we got some sad news for Arizona State heading into the game, so this kind of ruins their best game. Cincinnati likely gonna win because their Arizona State top quarterback got a rib injury he got in the Utah game last week. Yeah, he passed it 59%, not that great, just over 1,000 yards. But let's look at their upcoming schedule. If they somehow could beat Cincinnati without him, that would make the bowl eligible. That would make them 6-1. But if they somehow don't win that, they got OSU next. That one's gonna be another challenging one for them, and then UFC. But if Cincinnati can somehow beat Arizona State, which is beatable now, they don't have their quarterback. They got Colorado next, then West Virginia, then Iowa State. Yeah, Cincinnati can really can have a shot at the Big 12. They can get the win today against Arizona State. Alright, some other Big 12 games. Colorado versus Arizona, 3 o'clock on Fox. And then Kansas State versus West Virginia, 6:30 on Fox. And West Virginia fans haven't been too happy with his fan base lately. Probably because they aren't winning, which is likely. But he says, hey, we're still having good times, right? Alright. The Big 12 standings. I actually just realized this graphic is not correct at all. So kind of ignore this graphic. Just really look at the top 2. Iowa State and BYU. The rest is incorrect because I was sick over the weekend. Yeah, and I actually forgot to update my Big 12 graphic, my standings. So yeah, this is not the correct order. This is last week's, and as you can see, the only thing I changed is putting BYU at 6-0, and it's probably not incorrect because they played last night too. So if they beat OSU, they're 7-0. If they lost, they're 6-1. But anyway, let's look at BYU's upcoming schedule after they just played OSU last night. They got UCF next week, winnable. Utah, without Cam Rising, that's beatable now. Kansas, I mean, the end of the season, that might be their tough matchup, but not anymore. They're at the bottom now. And then Arizona State, that might be BYU's next big matchup. So BYU might actually win the Big 12 this year. I really do believe it. I think they're pretty locked in for the Big 12. All right, let's look at the SEC. The SEC's got a big one today. 2:30 ABC. Number 7 Alabama versus number 11 Tennessee. Yep, the last time they hosted the Crimson Tide, they beat them. They stormed the field. Are they going to do it again? Well, Alabama's been kind of not so great lately ever since they lost Saban. So we'll see how it goes this afternoon. And then how is Oklahoma going to respond after losing to Texas? They got South Carolina. South Carolina had almost knocked down Alabama last week. We'll see how that game goes. And LSU and Arkansas. Yes, Arkansas is looking to pull off one of the big upsets in the SEC this year. They haven't done it yet. Are they going to do it this time? Well, LSU, let's look at their upcoming schedule after knocking off Ole Miss last week. They got A&M next week. Got to be a challenging one. Then they got Alabama. Ooh, another good one for them. And then they get it off a little easy with Florida. But Florida doesn't have it easy. They got Kentucky tonight. How's Kentucky going to respond after losing to Vanderbilt? Speaking of Vanderbilt, they got that cupcake today. Yep. They got Ball State, 6 o'clock on ESPN+. Look at their upcoming schedule. They're 4-2. Yes, they can go 5-2 tonight. They just gotta get past Ball State. I think it's winnable. And then, if they win this game, it's all riding on this game. Doesn't matter the result of Georgia versus Texas. That one against Texas is gonna be a huge game. go ahead, bring up the graphic of, oh, I guess it's the next one, but let's talk about Diego first. Yeah, he's passing 69%. He's got 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, and only 1 interception this year. I mean, he threw his last one against Kentucky last week, and they still won that game. Close. It was a close one, but they still won it. I mean, they are on a hot streak right now. And then, yes, next Saturday, if Vanderbilt can beat Ball State, very likely, but college football happen. Doesn't matter the result of Georgia and Texas, because Texas is still going to be a top 5 team, whether they win or lose that game. So, Vanderbilt, if they win that game against Ball State, likely could be ranked. So, we could easily have Texas versus Vanderbilt as the game of the week. And I gotta say, get College Game Day down there. I think we can get College Game Day down there to Vanderbilt against Texas. I think it likely will happen. Can't wait. I'm excited for it. So let's look at the SEC's upcoming standings. Alabama at 5, A&M 4, Ole Miss 3, Georgia 2, and Texas is 1. I'm looking really forward to the rest of the SEC. It is getting exciting. Now that I guess Oklahoma is officially out of it, I hate to see Georgia up there. Texas up there, but if Georgia could beat Texas, a little sign of relief, and then I can hope that Vanderbilt just completely knocks Texas off. But let's look at the the CW for us today. 2:30, Hawaii goes on the road to Washington State, and then UNLV goes to Oregon State. Yeah, 9 o'clock. Both games will be on the CW network. Yeah, the home of the Pac-2. All right, on to the group of 5. We've got some good ones for you today. Wake Forest and UConn. Now, I gotta say, Wake Forest 2-4. You're thinking, okay, they're playing a group of 5 team. Maybe this is going to be their first win. But UConn 4-2, they're not bad this year. Are we going to get another group of 5 win over a Power 4? Possibly. And then Louisiana versus Coastal Carolina is going to be a good one. Toledo versus Northern Illinois. And James Madison versus Georgia Southern. That one is going to be a good one as well. I'm looking forward to it because James Madison is one of the high group of 5 teams where it has a shot at the playoff this year. So if Georgia Southern can end James Madison's season, that opens the door for another team, especially the American Conference. This one is going to be the best one. You know it's a good game when I make a big graphic out of it for the group of 5. North Texas versus Memphis. Going to be a big game for the American Conference. 6:30 on ESPNU. And now on to the Service Academy. We got Eastern Carolina versus Army. 11 o'clock on ESPN2. And then Charlotte versus Navy at 2:30 on CBS Sports Network. Gonna be a good game. Look at Army and Navy both ranked. Army is 6-0. They are bowl eligible. Who would have believed that? Now let's look at Army's upcoming schedule. As they got, I already mentioned Eastern Carolina today, but Navy, they got Army next week. Or they got a bye week, and then they got Army. And then this is when it really starts to get interesting for Army. They got North Texas at North Texas. We'll see how they do against Memphis today, because that's going to set up for a really good American Conference game. And then Notre Dame, going to be a good one. Navy's also got Notre Dame next week as well. I think they're likely going to be bowl eligible after today. And then they got Rice, not bad. And then South Florida. I think it's going to be get past Notre Dame. I think they got an easy win. The rest of their schedule, but don't sleep on South Florida. They have known they've been taking down big teams, or playing big teams close, I guess, really. All right, race to the playoffs from the group of 5. Nothing really has changed much since last week. It's Memphis, James Madison, Navy, Army, and Boise State all up there at the top. So, yeah, this is going to get really interesting here the next couple of weeks. The Cinderella story, possibly next week. I might actually change it to, Cinderella's more for March Madness. I think I might actually change it to like a cupcake race or something for next week. But, yeah, I got a good, that little short is coming in next week. But, yeah, there is my race in the playoffs. All right. Now on to Kansas, the teams we covered. Houston versus Kansas. 2:30 ESPN Plus. It's the battle of the losers. Going to be a big game. Not really. I'm not looking forward to it at all. I mean, it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be close. I'm kind of siding with Houston. But look at that. Look how much they beat TCU by. Yeah. Here's Kansas' upcoming schedule. They don't get a win here today. They ain't winning the rest of their season. I mean, Kansas State ain't winning. Iowa State ain't winning. BYU, I mean, the three biggest teams in the Big 12 are all next. And two of them are on the road. But let's look at Oklahoma. Their season is kind of, I wouldn't say done yet, but they still have a shot at a bowl game, a decent one to say. But 11:45 on SEC Network. South Carolina goes on the road to the Sooner State. They're 3-3, and really they should be like 5-1. But yeah, they played Alabama close, very close. You know, lost to LSU by 3 points, lost to Alabama by 2 points. Just Oklahoma's just gotta find the offense. That's Oklahoma's only problem right now is score. But they, not just a field goal, just point, touchdown. You got to find the end zone for Oklahoma. That the offense is really the only struggling part is moving the ball for Oklahoma. Let's look at well, before I look at the next graphic, one more thing. Yeah, this game is probably likely going to come to the wire, and South Carolina probably likely going to have the lead majority of the game. And I got to say, I think Oklahoma at home, homecoming, probably can get this win, but just find the offense, that's all. And I hope we see more quarterback action. Ole Miss, if they don't get it, they ain't winning another game. They got Ole Miss next, and then Maine. I think that might be Oklahoma's for sure only win left. All right, and then Texas is using our game of the week, 6:30 tonight on ABC. Yep, number 5, Georgia. They're 5-1. Only losses to Alabama. Texas, undefeated, 6-0, bowl eligible. They're number 1 in the country right now. And like I already mentioned, Georgia, in case you missed it, yeah, their only loss is to Alabama, and it was the crazy second half comeback. Now, 21-0 at halftime. Came back, and like, they took the lead at one point, and then they just lost. But also, another bad take for Georgia is Kentucky only lost to them by 1 point. So they beat Kentucky by 1 point. Kentucky is really not that great. But let's look at Texas' upcoming schedule. They get by today. Oh boy, that Vanderbilt game is going to be quite a game. And then Florida is next. That's going to be the win. And then Arkansas, that Arkansas game is going to be a trap game for them. All right, let's look at Tulsa. Yeah, another team that really hasn't been doing that great lately. 1 o'clock, ESPN Plus. Yeah, Tulsa's 2-4. Temple 1-5. Yeah, the loser of the American Conference. Temple's only win is get to Utah State. Yeah, not looking good for Tulsa right now. But I will say, looking at Tulsa's schedule, I think they might have a couple more wins left in them now. They're not going to go to a bowl game, I will say that. But I think you have a chance to turn this season around. They got UTSA next. Winnable, I think. UAB, I think they could beat UAB. UAB is not that great at all. And then Eastern Carolina. We'll see how they do against Army today. But, no, are they? I think it was Army? Yeah. There's so many games. But, we'll just have to see how that goes. Alright, now let's look at the college football 12-team playoffs. This is going to be good. This is based off the AP poll right now. The season, you know, if there didn't be any games today, in the last week, this is what the playoff would look like. Boise State versus Penn State. Going to be a good matchup. I think that's going to be, no, Penn State's winning. Yeah, actually, really, I think I say this every week, but you throw out Penn State, anything, going to be a good matchup. I'm actually looking forward to it. I think Boise State and Penn State would make a good matchup. LSU, Alabama. Why? AP, why? I know you got to rank them in order, but can we not do SEC versus SEC? Penn State versus Ohio State. Now, that was going to be a good one. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Tennessee and Ohio State. That was going to be quite a matchup. And Clemson versus Georgia. That one is going to be a good one. Oh, but they already play each other in the regular season. I mean, I know we're probably likely going to have like an SEC versus SEC or a Big Ten versus Big Ten likely because there's so many good SEC and Big Ten teams. But we really going to have these teams play each other again. Teams that play each other again in the regular season. Now, I don't want that in the playoffs again. But I mean, they're a bowl location, neutral sites. I'm okay with that. But they're campus games, the first round game. Anyway, what's new in this bracket is Iowa State's got the 4th spot. Yes, Iowa State got that bye week. Looking good up there. Oregon up there at number 2 as well. Notre Dame and BYU is left just out. All right, let's look at the NFL real quick. The Super Bowl is returning to Atlanta, Georgia, in 2028. Yep, they have bids for it, and this will be the second time that the Mercedes-Benz Stadium will host. So, you know that new Mercedes-Benz Stadium? Yeah, well, I guess it's not that new anymore. Anyway, I'm getting ready to host their second Super Bowl in 2028. I mean, that's 4 years away. So they gotta wait 4 more years for that. Alright, the Broncos versus the Saints on a Thursday night football. Yeah, the Broncos ended up getting a big win over the Saints. Was not expecting that big win. Broncos have really turned their season around. They get the W, 33-10 for Thursday night football. All right, let's look at some other big games around the NFL tomorrow and possibly Monday Night Football. The Seahawks versus the Falcons. I mean, but the big one, there are 2 big ones here. Yeah, I need to throw a 4th one in. But the Texans versus the Packers. Gonna be a good one. Looking forward to that one. And our game of the week is the Lions versus the Vikings. Vikings are 5-0 right now. Yeah, the Chiefs got a bye week, I think. So, yeah. Or do they? No, they don't. I think it's the Cowboys that have a bye week. The Chiefs are actually playing the 49ers. So, yeah. Both the undefeated teams are playing tomorrow. The Chiefs are playing at 3:25 on Fox. Road win, 49ers. I don't know what happened to them this year. I really haven't been paying attention to NFL that much, but I do know that they beat the Seahawks 36-24, and they are just somehow first in the NFC West. I do not know how that makes sense on a 3-3 team. All right, let's look at college basketball real quick. We have preseason AP rankings coming out for college basketball. Number 5 is Iowa State. Number 4 is Houston. Number 3 is UConn. Number 2 is Alabama. And number 1 is Kansas. Why did I do it like this? Because I was also going to do top 10. I should have done the 6 through 10 first. Oops, I kind of flipped the graphic. But anyway, yeah, those are the first place votes. You want to know what those numbers are. But yeah, Alabama, basketball school now. Yeah, and also, the Big 12's got Kansas, 1, Houston, and Iowa State. They got 3 in the top 5 right now. But, yeah, who else did they have in the top 10? Well, let's look. Arizona, make that 4. North Carolina at 9. Number 8 is Baylor, that's 6. Duke is at 7, and number 6 is Gonzaga. Yeah, Gonzaga also got a first place vote as well, I think. Yep, there it is. But, yeah, Duke still up there. Baylor still hanging in. North Carolina still up there. But Arizona up there, wow, great news for the Big 12 that they added to their... the Big 12 has got to be the best basketball conference heading into there. They got so many good teams coming in. Even the teams that aren't ranked, they're going to be good, and they're going to pull off some big upsets throughout the season. All right, now time for Underdog Game of the Week 8. We're going to Nebraska versus Indiana in this one, 11 o'clock on Fox. This one is going to be a really good one. Indiana is a 6.5-point favorite. They're number 16. I had Nebraska pulling off this upset. Not only are they going to cover, they're going to pull off the outright win. They're going to win this ball game. They're feeling good. I am 2-5, so I am not that confident on this pick. But, yeah. Makes me think, hey, I'm kind of cheering for Indiana, the Cinderella race up in the Big Ten, maybe a shot at the Big Ten championship game. So, I'm liking my odds for, I'm kind of picking Nebraska. Not because I think Nebraska's going to win, mainly because I'm cheering for Indiana, because I've been doing terrible on these picks. Anyway, it's now time for the update! Starting off with Arizona versus Cincinnati, 11 o'clock, ESPN Plus. Yeah, this is the biggest Big 12 game of the day, and they're just going to throw it in on ESPN Plus. It's crazy how the Big 12 is being treated by the media. Anyway, I like the way Arizona State has been playing lately. Cincinnati has come out of nowhere. I'm going Arizona State with the win. All right, Miami versus Louisville, 11 o'clock, ABC. Finally, something besides the SEC is going on ABC. It's Miami and Louisville. It's a good one. It will be a good one. The ACC, I think we'll finally actually see the Miami I was expecting this from them this year. I think Miami, VU will finally get a W. Stick with the ACC. Virginia versus Clemson. Gonna be a good one. Virginia is a really good team this year. They could potentially pull off this upset. This is a trap game for Clemson because they have been in the trending up. I think Dabo will have them ready and get the W in this game. All right. Next game up, we're going with the American Conference, the Group of 5, Newark, Texas versus Memphis, 6:30 ESPNU. This one is going to be a really tough pick. No, it's not. I've had Memphis preseason favored. I know they kind of they just had that one bad loss, and they kind of fell down, but I think they're trending right back up. Much as I like Newark, Texas, I'm going to go with Memphis to win this game. Alabama, Tennessee, 2:30 ABC. Alabama, 2.5-point favorite on the road. Last time they went to the Volunteers, Tennessee won it off in the walk-off field goal. They stormed the field toward the field goal post. They won it off of it, threw it in the nearest lake. Alabama's not having it this time. The coach may not know what it feels like, but those players do. Alabama gets the win. Michigan and Illinois. I don't know why these two teams are ranked I have no idea. Illinois, I mean, they only have a couple of good wins. Michigan has, I guess, some good wins, but I'm actually, originally I had, at the time of this recording, Illinois. I had Illinois picked, but I'm going to actually flip it to Michigan, so y'all are probably seeing it right. But, yeah, my editor flipped my pick to Michigan. All right, now, NFL Game of the Week, the Lions versus the Vikings. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock on Fox. Vikings are going to continue their undefeated season. Alright, now time for the game of the week. Georgia versus Texas. 6:30 ABC. Georgia is 3-1 in the SEC. They're only lost to Alabama, like I already mentioned. Texas hasn't lost an SEC game yet. Not bad for the first time in the SEC. They're 5-point favorites, but I remember last time they hosted a top 5 team in Austin. Didn't go so well. Alabama won. EA Sports video game is picking Georgia. I'm also picking Georgia. I'm 5-3 right now. I like this odds. I think Georgia is going to show them a rude awakening and say, welcome to the SEC. Thanks for watching me again, and see y'all next week.